Have you ever felt like something's pulling at your energy, but you can't explain why? Like, your mind is cloudy, your dreams feel strange, your motivation disappears, not gradually, but like someone just unplugged your spirit. And deep down, you know something's not right, not physically, not mentally, spiritually. This video isn't about superstition, it's about energy, awareness, and reclaiming your peace. Because in some cultures, and are in many quiet corners of the world, there are people who don't fight with fists. They fight with intention, jealousy, spiritual manipulation, and sometimes witchcraft. Before we dive in, I want to say this clearly. This isn't a video to scare you. It's to awaken you. Each of these signs builds on the next. Miss one, and you might miss the exact thing that could set you free. So take a breath and stay with me. And if you've been feeling spiritually drained or intuitively shaken lately, this might be the message you didn't even know you needed. If this already feels like truth to you, go ahead and subscribe. This is a space for deep awareness, grounded spirituality, and real protection without the noise. Just calm, clarity, and strength from within. We live in a world where everything has become external. Outfits, outposts, outcomes. But most people never learn how to protect what's internal. Your spirit, your vibration, your soul space. That's why spiritual attacks, jealousy, and even witchcraft catch so many off guard. Because the world teaches you to lock your doors, but not your aura. So if you've been feeling tired but can't sleep, lost without reason, unexplainably distant from your purpose, there's a chance this message is for you. These 5 signs aren't just warnings, they're invitations to reconnect, to cleanse, and to return to your power from the inside out. The last one? It's the one most people never expect, but it's the one I see show up every single time someone is under spiritual attack. 1. Your dreams feel hijacked. There's a quiet space between sleep and waking, and it's one of the most sacred places we pass through daily. It's the realm where your subconscious speaks, where your spirit processes what your mind can't yet articulate. And it's also one of the most vulnerable places you can be spiritually. Because when you're asleep, your body rests, but your spirit is wide open. And anything open can be entered. When spiritual interference is present, especially witchcraft or energy manipulation, one of the first places it shows up is your dreams. Not always with fire and brimstone, but with a strange distortion, almost like someone's changing the channel while you sleep. You go to bed feeling okay, but wake up feeling off, like something happened, but you can't quite name it. You keep having these recurring dreams. You're being chased but can't run fast enough. You see snakes, insects, shadows, or dark figures just watching. Someone you know appears, but their face is slightly wrong. Their energy feels twisted. And worst of all, you wake up exhausted, like you've been in a battle all night. Not a symbolic one, but a real one. Your spirit feels drained before the day even begins. And when you try to shake it off, you can't, because it doesn't feel like just a dream. It feels like someone has their hands on the frequency, like you're not alone in there. This isn't always fear-based. It's more subtle, more psychological than cinematic. Sometimes it's manipulation through imagery, temptation, fear, or guilt. And you find yourself carrying emotions during the day that didn't start with you. Take a breath right here and ask yourself, gently, honestly, do my dreams feel like mine lately? Do they reflect my subconscious, Or do they feel tampered with, like someone's interfering with the signal? Our dreams are supposed to bring clarity, insight, healing. Even when they're heavy, they usually bring a lesson or release. But if lately your dreams only bring confusion, distortion, and emotional residue, you might be dealing with spiritual interference. And no, you're not imagining it. Your spirit knows when something isn't right. Your intuition knows when something foreign is slipping in through the cracks. But here's the thing. Dreams are just the first doorway. They reveal what's happening spiritually. But what comes next shows up in your body. Because when spiritual interference deepens, it doesn't just mess with your sleep. It begins to leak into how you feel, move, and show up in the waking world. Let's talk about the second sign, and it's one most people dismiss as just stress. But it's deeper than that. Stick with me. This next one might explain what your body's been trying to say all along. 2. Sudden energy drains with no medical cause. Spiritual warfare doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it feels like exhaustion. A deep, sudden fatigue that hits you out of nowhere. Not just being tired, but drained, soul deep. This is one of the most common and most overlooked signs of spiritual attack, especially when you're trying to grow, trying to heal, trying to elevate. Because dark energy doesn't fight you when you're stagnant. It fights you when you're moving. When you start praying more, dreaming more, building more, suddenly your energy plummets. That's not just coincidence. That's resistance. Think about it. You had a clear vision. You were excited, motivated. You finally started writing the book, making the video, applying for the thing, saying yes to your healing journey. And then, boom, you can barely get out of bed. The energy just vanished, not over weeks, but in a day. You start sleeping more, but you're still tired. You drink coffee, but you still feel numb. You cancel plans, avoid conversations, stop showing up for the very things that once lit you up. So you go to the doctor, expecting something to be wrong. But they say you're fine. Blood work, normal. Heart rate, normal. No explanation, except deep inside, you know something shifted. Your mind feels foggy. Your emotions feel distant. You don't feel sick. You feel hijacked. And here's the hardest part. You start blaming yourself. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I just need to push harder. But spiritual fatigue isn't fixed by pushing harder. It's fixed by clearing interference. Because when someone is projecting onto you, when they're jealous, obsessive, controlling, or envious, their energy can pull from you, especially if you're energetically sensitive or spiritually open. So pause with me and ask, is this tiredness mine? Or does it feel like someone's draining me from a distance? Maybe someone's thinking about you constantly. Maybe someone you love resents your growth. Maybe someone's word or rituals are reaching for you when you're not looking, even if you still love them, even if it's subtle, even if they smile to your face. Spiritual interference doesn't need to be loud to be destructive. Sometimes it moves in silence, and sometimes the fatigue you feel isn't yours to carry. And if you don't take action, if you don't clear what's draining you, the next sign begins to show up, and it's sneakier, because now the interference moves from your energy into your mind. Your thoughts start shifting, your beliefs, your inner voice starts sounding like someone else's. And that's where we head next, when your thoughts no longer sound like you. Let's talk about sign number 3, because this one has the power to reshape your entire sense of self if you don't catch it in time. Number 3, unusual mental confusion or emotional turbulence. Let's get real. When spiritual interference hits your mind, it becomes harder to detect and way more dangerous. Because if your dreams can be hijacked, if your energy can be drained, then your clarity can be corrupted too. Witchcraft, spiritual manipulation, negative projection, whatever name you give it, often attacks the one thing you depend on daily, your inner compass. The goal? To distract you, to confuse you, to make you question your instincts, so you stop moving forward. If you don't trust yourself, you can be controlled. And that's exactly the point. Think about it. You used to move with confidence. You could trust your gut. You knew what felt aligned and what didn't. But now you can't even pick an outfit without spiraling. A simple text sends your heart racing. You reread emails 10 times before hitting send. You obsess over what people think, even though you never used to care. It's like a mental fog crept in, slowly at first, so you didn't even notice it. And now, you're second-guessing every decision. You don't trust yourself anymore. And worse, you feel emotionally unstable. You snap at people you love. You cry over things that don't make sense. You feel overly sensitive, easily triggered, or completely numb. Sometimes all in one day. And then the self-doubt kicks in. What's wrong with me? Am I overreacting? Why am I like this all of a sudden? But let me tell you something plainly. This isn't just your mood. This isn't just a bad week. This is interference. Something or someone has gotten into your energetic field and is whispering confusion into your thoughts and chaos into your emotions. And 9 times out of 10, it started when you began leveling up, healing, shifting, moving differently. Look back and ask, who was around me when I stopped feeling like me? Because spiritual attack often doesn't feel like attack. It feels like self-doubt, like overthinking, like losing your peace in a way you can't explain. So I ask you now, gently but truthfully, when did I stop feeling like me? What shifted and who was near when it did? Trace it. You'll find that there was a moment, maybe small, maybe subtle, when your clarity began to dim. When your energy shifted, someone entered your life, or someone left with bitterness. You can't always prove it, but your spirit knows. That's your signal. Your body is telling you something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. You aren't going crazy. You're under spiritual pressure, and that means it's time to push back. Your mind is your territory. Don't let it be rented out to voices that don't belong to you. Because if you don't protect your thoughts, if you let confusion linger, it won't just stay in your head. It starts seeping into your life. Doors that were once open start closing. Plans fall through. Your finances take hits. Your relationships shift. Suddenly, the things that used to flow stop working. That's not a coincidence. That's the next sign. When the external begins to reflect the internal, and things around you just stop moving forward. Let's get into sign number 4 and talk about how spiritual interference shows up in your actual life results. 4. Repeated blockages in key areas of your life. You've done the work. You've shown up. You've prayed, journaled, meditated, even healed what you could inside yourself. And still, nothing moves. You get opportunities, then silence. You make progress, and suddenly it unravels. You attract people, and just as quickly they vanish. It's like life is dangling keys in front of you, but every door you try to unlock won't budge. It's not just one area either, it's love. finances, peace of mind. Wherever you try to flow, something pushes back. When someone is working against you, whether consciously or through projected jealousy or intent, they don't always come for your safety. They come for your movement. Why? Because if they can block your flow, they block your fulfillment. They keep you stuck, spinning, doubting, and over time you start to wonder if it's you. But maybe it's not. This is often how it shows up. Job offers that vanish without reason. People who show up strong, then ghost. Ideas that almost work, but something always goes wrong at the last minute. And not once or twice, but over and over again, until you start thinking, maybe I'm just not meant for this. But ask yourself this, what if the resistance isn't a redirection, but interference? Not from life, but from an unseen hand that doesn't want to see you rise? So pause for a second and gently ask, is this just a hard season? Or is something being sent to stall me? Are these blocks just life being life? Or is something trying to keep me small? Deep down, your spirit knows. And the final sign? It's the quietest of them all, the most subtle, but also the most dangerous, because it doesn't show up in your outer world. It shows up inside your own mind. We'll go there next. 5. You feel disconnected from God, your source. A person sits in silence, eyes closed. A prayer journal open, pen untouched. Their lips try to form a prayer, but nothing comes. The room is still, but not peaceful. It feels like something is missing. This might be the hardest sign to name, because it's the one that slowly steals your hope, without you even realizing it. At one time, you felt close to something higher. Maybe you called it God. Maybe it was Source, or just peace. You had that stillness, that knowing. You could pray and feel heard, meditate and feel guided, walk through the world with the quiet confidence that you were held. But now, you go to speak, and the words fall flat. You try to feel something, but your heart feels numb, like your prayers hit the ceiling, like God left the room. But what if you didn't lose your faith? What if something came to interrupt it? Witchcraft tries to isolate the spirit. When witchcraft, or dark intention, is sent your way, it doesn't just aim to ruin your finances or relationships. It wants to disconnect you from your source, from your protection, from your power. Because a disconnected soul is easier to confuse. A disconnected soul starts to think, maybe I deserve this. It starts to forget how to cry out. It starts to question what's even real. It doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it starts with busyness, then burnout, then silence, until one day you realize you haven't prayed in weeks. You haven't felt anything for longer than you can remember. And you can't tell if that silence is peace or just spiritual exhaustion. So pause and ask yourself gently, when did I stop feeling held? What shifted in me? And who came into my life around that time? This isn't about blame, it's about discernment. This might not be an easy question to answer, but it's one of the most important. Where did I lose my divine connection, and what might have tried to take it from me? You've now seen all 5 signs, and maybe they've helped you name something you've been carrying in silence for too long. So let's gently bring it all together. If any part of this is landing with you, this space is for you. Subscribe. We don't just talk about problems here. We return to our power piece by piece, You're not alone on this path. Let's breathe together. Let's come back to what matters. You are not powerless. You are not imagining things. You are not alone. 1. Your dreams feel hijacked. 2. Energy drains that defy logic. 3. Emotional and mental chaos. 4. Constant blockages in life. 5. A sudden disconnection from God or Source. These aren't just signs. They're signals. Signals to pause, reflect, and protect your space again. Whether or not someone is doing witchcraft on you, you have the power to cleanse, restore, and reclaim. No one holds more authority over your life than the spirit within you. So take this as a reminder. You're not weak for feeling off. You're wise for listening. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt like this? Which one of these signs felt familiar? And if you're on this journey of spiritual clarity and protection, subscribe. This space is your sanctuary. We grow here, we heal here, and we rise together.